and we're coming to you live, even though the game hasn't started yet. We know there's a rain delay at Yankee Stadium. Of course, we're in New York, so we also see the rain outside. We're only about 6 miles from Yankee Stadium, due north, and I thought we talk about the game just a little bit, hoping that we get it in. It is a critical, crucial, tense, difficult, and everything else we want to say game. The Yankees have to win it, obviously, or the season's over for them, and the Astros move on to play the Phillies in in the World Series. It'll be quite a World Series with Philadelphia in it. The last series I remember in Philadelphia, one of my most vivid memories is a man being almost beaten to death in the first row in the premium seats. Quite a place to. I mean, unfortunately, I have to say so many bad things about Philadelphia. People might think I don't like it. I happen to love Philadelphia. I think it's a great city. I love Philly's Philly's cheesesteak. I used to love seeing the Rockies statue there until they took it down. It wasn't art. I mean, they throw feces on the Blessed Mother, and that's art. And Rocky's not art. And something wrong with that. But in any event, it'll be in Philadelphia, so it should provide not only good baseball but good boxing. And the Astros, I mean, the Astros are basically, although they do have that history of cheating, they're not a particularly violent team. And the Philly team isn't violent. It's the fans get crazy, and the people in Philadelphia are nice people, except, well, they do murder a lot, and they have a district attorney who lets all the criminals free. So I don't know, with Krasner as DA, and the way in which they go a little nuts at baseball and football games anyway. And I'm told that he lets free about 50 to 60% of the criminals that the police want arrested. That's a big number. But I want you to see how it reflects itself. Philadelphia has more murders than New York, which has getting up there now in murders again. And Chicago, which could be considered a murdering field, it has more murders than New York and Chicago combined. And it's tiny compared to New York and Chicago, if I recall. I mean, New York is 8 million. Chicago's about 3, and they're about 1. And they've got more murders than the other two combined. That's got to be per capita. A lot of people getting killed. And then it's got every other kind of crime. And it's probably one of the 2 or 3 most out of control cities in America. And it has a district attorney who is probably singularly responsible for it. By when he came in, the murder rates and all that just went through the roof. I mean, he has the records now for just about everything having to do with crime. He is a completely wacky Soros appointee who spent $3 million to get him elected so that he could destroy the justice system. And they're going to play a World Series there. Whoa. And they took one out of Atlanta because of the Jim Crow law that produced more voters than any law in Georgia history. But in any event, let's get back to baseball. So, if they play tonight, and if the lineup that I see in front of me stands, basically going to be the same lineup, with the possible exception that at shortstop in the number 8 position is going to be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. But it's essentially the same group of people that seemed to be adverse to swinging the bat last night. It was a very strange a combination of two things that the Yankees did wrong. Now, the Astros won the game, but the Yankees also lost the game. I think until the ninth inning they had one hit, which I don't even remember how they got it because they didn't swing the bat. A lot of people called out on strikes. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 called out on strikes. And that you could go up and down the line. the lineup was anemic. Now, I am used to managers when that happens. Now I'm talking like Joe Torre, Billy Martin, Ibarra, Bucky Showalter. When that happens, this lineup gets really shook up. Just for the heck of it, just to see what you can do. I mean, why? But we got basically the same lineup with one little change, which can't mean much in the eighth position. So let's hope some new attitude emerged. Now, there's a saying in baseball that momentum is only as good as the starting pitcher, which means you can be on a great streak, you run into a great starting pitcher, and that ends the whole thing. And I would say the Yankees have that in Nestor Cortes. He's had a great season. He's pitched really well in the playoffs. He's got a 2.44 ERA. He's 12-4. Postseason, he's got a 2.70 ERA. He's 1-0.
Not always. But yeah.
So I mean, he's a real pitcher. The question though isn't, you never know. The question really isn't his pitching. The question is, are the Yankees going to hit? As you would expect, the Astro lineup is pretty much the same lineup that has been so productive, with the possible exception of the leadoff hitter, Jose Altuve, their best hitter, who got only one hit so far. He's batting .036. In fact, he's got the worst lineup of all of them. I mean, Cabrera is batting .083 for the Yankees, and Trevino is batting .056 for the Yankees. But I mean, they have some pretty anemic batting averages here. Judge is batting .156, Stanton batting .179, Torres is batting .133, Cabrera is batting .083, Trevino is batting .056. I mean, the Yankees got two people in the lineup that can't even break, .100. I mean, that's pathetic. I don't know Boone's managing style, but the second thing that emerged yesterday, and not for the first time really, is considerable confusion when the Yankees go for a ball. It seems that nobody listens to who's ever calling for the ball, and even when they make the catch, they're in danger of screwing it up, and they screwed up a couple. So we got to have some big changes tonight. And now we have here, I really lost interest in baseball when they added the DH. It totally changed the game, disturbing. Well, I would say I'd rather see the pitcher hit. I think it's a better game when the pitcher hits. I think it creates a lot more strategy. The bunting strategy, it keeps bunting in the game. The trying to get past that part of the batting order if you're the offense, trying to focus on that part of the batting order if you're the defense. And and then of course you have to make decisions about whether to take him out in a game where you're losing 1-0, and your pitcher is pitching great, and he's better than anybody you think you can bring in from the bullpen, but you need a hit. So it takes that strategy out of baseball. It does theoretically create more offense, and it doesn't theoretically, it does create more offense. And it leads to the emphasis on the home run, because very often the DH is a power hitter. But it's been there for so long that I don't see it ending. And probably for the good of baseball, they probably should do it in both leagues, so that it's kind of even when you get to the World Series. But in any event, they won't. The National League still has it. I like to go just look at National League games because the pitcher is batting. And I think you're right, but I wouldn't lose interest completely in baseball because the designate hasn't changed it that much. It's made some change. I mean, if you look at the difference in offense that it's created, it's I'm not going to say minuscule, but it's not very significant. And then it creates its own interest, right? careers for ball players who are not mobile at some point in their career, but can still hit like hell. So,
Couple shout outs. Thank you for joining us. We have Susan from Washington State.
hello, Susan. Nice to see you. I have a question here about my friend Brian Cashman, so I have to be a little circumspect. How does Cashman still have a job? Well, I mean, the Yankees have been more generous in their approach to this whole thing than have been in the lifetime of the Yankees since George Steinbrenner has been around. I mean, Steinbrenner had one, maybe two fairly long streaks when they win World Series, and he went through all sorts of managers to try to get one that could win. Whereas this one, we have one manager, and that's one general manager. Cashman has got them good players. They do get injured a lot. I would think the emphasis here is going to be on the manager and on Boone, since there have been some definable mistakes. Now, I like this one. While I'm a diehard Mets fan, I'm a New York fan, so I'm rooting for the Yankees. Now, whoever you are, I lost a name there. The fact is that I'm that way too. And someone reminds me that the National League now has the DH, which shows you that this year and last year I haven't paid much attention in the National League, which, in a way is sad, but inevitable.
Mayor, you have some shout outs.
So this person here she's so nice. Amy loves Fredia. Says, good God, I couldn't find you. I've been panicking for 41 minutes. Well, thank you, Amy. And we got someone from Germany. We got two people from Germany. I'm late. The game. Guess I'm benched. Well, you're not benched, but it's raining in New York. Do I think the Yankees should pay Judge this winter? Well, I mean, they got to pay him what they owe him. I think the Yankees should keep Judge, and despite whatever happens in this series, there's no reason why he's not going to have a great season again next season. I'll give you some examples. Gil Hodges, Hall of Famer Gil Hodges, had an 0-21 streak in a World Series against the Yankees, and then continued his great Hall of Fame career. Mariano Rivera, who might be maybe the main reason the Yankees won so many World Series in the '90s, gave up a winning home run in the 1997 playoffs that got the Yankees out of the playoffs, out of the World Series, and then went on after that to be the most dominant pitcher, certainly pitcher in World Series history. So, with the talent the man has, this is an aberration that does happen to baseball players. They go into streaks, and he is a streak hitter. I mean, during the season, the same thing happens. It's a shame. It's a shame that it's really a shame that he has it right now. And I empathize with the Yankee management, because when a player goes into these streaks, there's almost nobody really knows how to get him out of it. It's the weirdest thing. Your son is going to win. That's God's plan. Oh, well, it's up to whether my son wants to continue, right, and the voters. But he certainly made a terrific showing in the primaries for a guy who's never run before. Where do you start in politics? Local. Yes, ma'am. Or yes, sir. That is the answer to that is, without question, yes. Do I think the Mets have any chance of signing Judge? I don't think so. I don't know Aaron Judge the way I knew the '90s Yankees, like Jeter and Bernie Williams, and I mean, those guys just were never going to sign with anybody else. It's like Jackie Robinson. I don't know if you know this story, but when the Dodgers moved from Brooklyn, and Branch Rickey was gone, who was the man who got Jackie Robinson, Walter O'Malley. And this may be even worse than moving the Dodgers out of Brooklyn. traded the now getting old Jackie Robinson to the New York Giants. Now, the Yankees and the Dodgers were rivals in the World Series, but the real hatred was between the Dodgers and the Giants. They're both in the National League. So they played like 18, 19 games against each other. And, it was, Jackie Robinson retired. He would not put on a Giant uniform. And he said, I began as a Dodger. I'm going to die as a Dodger. That's the kind of player I remember. I would think Aaron Judge is that kind of a Mickey Mantle type of player. I'm a Yankee. And as long as they pay him a competitive amount, I think Judge stays. I think Judge stays with the Yankees. We're going to play, it sounds like, at 8:30. Sounds like we're going to play at 8:30. It is now 10 minutes to 8. How about we say we come back at 8:25?
Mayor, how does a rain delay like this impact the players' performance as they were prepared for the game? Would an 8:30 start when it was originally at 7:07? Does that impact true professionals, or should they be able to?
This one needs to be fixed right here. This one here has to be.
Okay.
You got to go back on here. We're losing our. We're losing our. What do we have there? Twitter people.
Twitter is off.
Twitter's off?
Yep.
Okay. So what was the question?
So for our YouTube and Getter audience, a game started being delayed an hour and a half.
It affects the starting pitchers. And it depends on how much warming up they did. Let's assume they didn't do it, which I think is probably the case because it's been raining about 2-3 hours. So I don't think they would have warmed up. So it's not going to affect it at all if that's the case. If they warmed up and then the game gets a big delay, now it depends on the pitcher. Some pitchers would have a real hard time with that, having to warm up again. Some pitchers, the more, flexible ones, let's put it that way, it can matter at all. It's hard to say how it affects the players, probably individually. Some of them probably are bothered by the delay. Most of them are. Most major league players, are used to playing when they have to at midnight or 13 innings or 15 innings or 16 innings. I would say this rain delay is not going to have much of an effect, largely because I doubt that either pitcher warmed up, that either manager would have had them warm up, given the fact that the rain was predicted, rain was going on, and they know that even if all of a sudden the game is going to get started, they'll always be given time to warm up their pitchers. So I'd say it doesn't affect it at all. It affects the crowd. I mean, a lot of people just give up and leave, so you're probably not going to see a great crowd, and they were having trouble anyway with this game because it's right now the series is so uneven. Should the Yankees win today, I think tomorrow you'll see a big difference. But right now, despite the fact that I'd rather not this be the case, I'd like Yankee fans to be in there no matter what. It just is natural. You're just not going to see the same kind of numbers that you see.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be back.
We'll be back at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, rain or shine. Check back in and we'll make sure we're live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you.